Hey guys, welcome to today's Explainer. I'm super excited to jump into this one with you because today we're stepping way outside our everyday bubble and heading straight into the blazing sands of the Thar Desert. We're going to uncover this totally incredible real-life story from your chapter that, honestly, it feels like it's ripped straight out of a superhero movie. Only our hero doesn't wear a flashy cape. Nope, he wears a khaki uniform. So let's just get right into it.
Okay, but first, I've got to ask you guys a question. Can you even imagine your life without the internet? Like zero instant messaging, no social media whatsoever? Picture a world where you literally can't just text your best friend. You can't double tap a photo or instantly video call your cousins. It's kind of tough to imagine, right? I mean, today, we're all just a quick click away from anyone. But there was a time, and there are still places right now, where that instant connection just doesn't exist at all.
Long before the internet was just our normal way of life, people actually relied on the absolute magic of the traditional mail system. Messages had to travel physically. You'd write all your thoughts down on a real piece of paper, drop it into a postbox, and then it went on this massive, epic journey. It traveled on trains, bumped along on buses, and passed through the hands of real, hardworking people, until a postman literally dropped it into your letterbox. It was this massive, real-world relay system. Which brings us to this guy, meet Khetaram. Check out his khaki uniform, his cap, and that classic mailbag slung right across his shoulder. If you look closely, you can almost see how his left shoulder is actually slightly slumped from years and years of carrying that heavy bag. He's the one and only postman for the Somarud branch post office. And for 15 solid years, day in, day out, he has been the one trusted link between the people of his super remote Rajasthani village and their families living far away. His official job title is Gramin Dak Sewak, so let's break down what that actually means. A Gramin Dak Sewak is basically a rural postal worker who delivers mail to places where the roads, where they literally just end. For Khetaram, he is the sole link, like the absolutely only connection between faraway families and the people living in some of India's most extreme, isolated spots. Without him, the people in these distant villages would be 100% cut off from the rest of the world. He is literally their lifeline. Okay, let's talk about where he actually does all this heavy lifting. We are talking about the Thar Desert. Try to imagine walking for hours in 50 degrees Celsius heat. 50 degrees! It is absolutely scorching. He's out there defying the most brutal elements you can find in India's harshest desert. We're talking intense, blazing summer winds and these crazy swirling sandstorms that basically turn him into a walking sandman. The only thing protecting him from the desert's absolute fury is his khaki turban and uniform. To give you an idea of how hot it gets out there, it is so unbelievably hot that you won't see a single soul outdoors in the afternoon. Nothing. Even the camels. And camels are literally built to survive the desert, but even they hide away, slumping in whatever tiny patch of shade they can find under the local cage-free trees. But while the animals are totally forced to take shelter from that 50-degree heat, our real-life superhero Khetaram, he just keeps right on walking. So how does the mail actually get all the way out there? It's basically a 330-kilometer relay race against the clock. First, the mail leaves the city of Jodhpur on a super fast train. Then it gets tossed onto local buses bouncing towards Barmer. And finally, when the actual roads completely run out, that mail gets hefted straight onto Khetaram's shoulders for his final trek across the dunes. Because of his sheer physical effort, a letter makes it all the way to the border in under 24 hours. Under 24 hours, that is purely thanks to his crazy dedication. And just to put his isolation into perspective, Khetaram is operating 120 kilometers beyond the very last railway track. He's working 50 kilometers beyond the last working telephone line. The roads out there just crumble away into sand that's so soft you couldn't even pedal a bicycle through it. So where bikes literally cannot move, Khetaram's footprints are the only things crossing those sandbeds, bringing a little piece of humanity to the most remote corners of the world. But, his job isn't always just dropping off happy letters from relatives. It can get really heavy. There's actually one specific kind of letter that he completely dreads delivering. Whenever Khetaram is sorting through his mailbag and he spots an envelope that has its top right corner torn off, his heart just sinks. See, in their culture, that torn corner means ashubh samachar. It means bad news, usually the news of a death. And he has to carry that heavy emotional burden all alone across those desert sands. And what he does when he delivers that letter is just deeply moving. Khetaram has this very profound personal ritual.
He says, Ashub Samachar cannot be carried into the house. So when he finally reaches the grieving family's home, he stops and stands outside. He reads the sad letter out loud, twice, just to make sure the family fully understands the news. And then he literally tears the paper into bits. He mutters, "Bad news must be destroyed." He shreds the physical letter right there in the sand, hoping to stop any of that bad luck from crossing the family's doorstep.
Hearing Khetaram's story naturally brings up a really big question for us to think about. What actually carries more weight in our lives? Is it the things we say or the things we actually do? Well, in your chapter, right alongside Khetaram's amazing real-life story, there's a really beautiful poem. It's simply called Words, and it asks us to think about this exact same thing. Let's take a look at how the poem compares our words to our actions. The poem makes this really brilliant comparison. It says that words all by themselves are often just like summer birds. They flutter around, they sing for a little bit, and then they fly away, leaving absolutely nothing but empty air behind. Honestly, sometimes empty words have as little value as weeds. But actions, like Khetaram's 15 solid years of daily, grueling, life-saving desert walks, those are like plants that actually grow real fruit. They have actual substance. They leave a permanent, powerful mark on the world. So when we put all this together, we really get to see the poetry of real life. The poem is telling us that words could never actually satisfy the heart if there's no meaningful action backing them up. If you're just talking and talking, well, it's kind of like a plant, putting on a flashy show but growing zero fruit. Khetaram doesn't need to stand around making grand speeches about how much he helps people. His 15 years of dedication, walking through 50-degree sandstorms just to keep families connected, that speaks so much louder than any dictionary ever could. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. But before you go, I want to leave you with a question to really chew on. Think about your own life. With your friends, your family, your studies. Are you going to be a person of just words, like those summer birds that leave nothing but empty air? Or are you going to be a person of powerful, meaningful action, just like our quiet desert superhero, Khetaram? The choice is entirely up to you. Keep learning, keep doing your best, and I will catch you guys in the next explainer.